It's something new for the state of Oregon, and we have not seen this in 70 years. We have a new state forest, and it's right here in Central Oregon. I'm Dave Adams. I talked with Doug Decker, State Forest Project Leader for the Oregon State Department of Forestry, about a 43,000-acre new forest south of Bend.
Well, this has been a long time coming. We've been working on this for about 2 years, and what we're doing is we're acquiring a significant chunk of the former Gilchrist tract forest lands located about 50 miles south of Bend on the east side of Highway 97 in the Gilchrist Crescent area.
Why is it important to pick up this land and turn it into, is it going to be a state forest?
Right, so these lands will join about 800,000 acres in Oregon as state forest land, and it was important, what brought the state to the table to begin with was the fact that these lands were candidates for conversion to other than forest uses. They were on the brink of being subdivided into minimum parcels and going out of forest use. And when forest land goes out of forest use, we lose habitat value. You lose public access value. You lose certainly the forest products and the revenue value. Just a lot of values that we felt needed to be conserved, and that's why we're really excited about being able to conserve the Gilchrist tract.
And as far as the Gilchrist tract is concerned, was it their position in the state? Is there some unique habitat there that you wanted to save?
Well, it's actually the history of the Gilchrist tract is that it has been pretty heavily harvested in the past, and most of the trees on that property are less than 20 years old. So basically the property needs a rest, needs some young forest, young stand development. We have some thinning to do there. But the primary, the reason that brought us to the table was we're concerned about this significant chunk of land going out of forest use.
For a number of reasons, recreational habitat values, is that correct?
If we're able to conserve it as forest land and not, let it not go to development, we can keep those values like habitat, recreational use and access, and forest products and revenues and jobs.
How'd you pay for this?
We've all paid a little bit for it. The Oregon Lottery, the legislature last cycle authorized the use of Oregon Lottery dollars to the tune of about $15 million to acquire this parcel.
So this is going to open up the opportunity to buy another 100,000 acres nearby?
This is a 43,000-acre parcel. It's part of several other neighboring parcels that are owned by the same company that were also part of the Gilchrist ownership that we've been pursuing. We weren't able to get to all those parcels because we had a fixed number, a $15 million number with lottery bonds. Now, we're hoping and planning over the long term that we're able to acquire some additional parcels over the next several years.
What's this forest going to be called?
Well, the working title right now is the Gilchrist State Forest, recognizing the multi-generations of the family that shaped the land and the community that's there. The state forester has the naming authority, and he'll be moving directly in the next month or so to make that happen.
Doug, did any of the state's general funds go into this? The state's under a budget crunch right now, and did any of that money go into buying this forest?
General fund tax dollars associated with this acquisition, these are lottery bonds that are funded basically from lottery proceeds.
Let's talk about the recreational opportunities. Is this land, either the 43,000 acres that we've acquired now or the 100,000 acres in the future, do they have significant either potential recreational opportunities or opportunities that have been used in the past that are going to be developed more?
Well, we did a recreation study on these lands and determined that they have moderate to significant recreation value. They are being used right now for hunting, for wood cutting, for mushroom picking, and for off-highway vehicle or ATV use. And so those uses are still there and will continue. The land is surrounded to the east, the south, and the north by National Forest land and by BLM land. So there's a lot of connectivity to existing trails and trail systems.
Any planned recreational improvements of significance?
Not at this point. No, I think we're going to have our hands full just kind of getting to know the property, bringing it into the state forest system, making plans for the future. There's a lot of work to be done there in terms of young stand management. 70% of this forest is less than 20 years old, and we've got a lot of work to do in terms of we have some thinning to do. Most of it is lodgepole pine, though a portion of it is ponderosa pine as well.
Doug Decker is the State Forest Project Leader for the Oregon State Department of Forestry. I'm Dave Adams. Take 5 is a production of 1110 KBND Radio News. Depend on us.